Hi and welcome to the first of our vlogs. I want to thank you so much for backing this project. I've been utterly blown away and humbled by the amount of people who have supported this project, people that I know and people that I don't know. So whether we know each other or not, thank you. Whether you're from Wales or the UK or not, or from America, around the world, thank you so much for joining us in doing this. Now, during the next few months, we'll be recording vlogs as we travel around and film, and as well, in these early vlogs, I thought I'd share with you a little bit of where we're coming from in this film, why we're doing what we're doing, and really the principles behind it. So I thought today I'd introduce you to myself if we haven't met properly. My name's Jonathan Thomas. I'm a church pastor in Abergavenny in Wales, and I'm writing the script and presenting the DVD along with Dan, who's kind of doing all of the filming and all the creative stuff and organising everything and getting all the experts in to kind of fill in all the detail. And I thought I'd share with you where this idea to make a DVD about revival comes from. Now, you've got to come back with me kind of 25, 30 years to a little Welsh village in West Wales called Brynaman. Now, I was brought up in Brynaman. I became a Christian when I was about 15 years old. And one of the first Christian books I ever read was a book called Intercessor by a guy called Norman Grubb, which was about a guy from Brynaman called Rhys Howells. Now, as a teenager, I read this book, and I really read it because it was based early on in my village, and Rhys Howells became a Christian in the book. And one of the things he used to do as a young Christian was walk up into the mountains and pray. And so I remember 16, 17, I would go and try and find the paths that he had walked and walk the walks that he had walked and pray as he prayed. And that book had a huge impact on me as a young Christian, giving me a heart for prayer. But Rhys Howells, when you read the book, didn't stay in Brynaman. He goes off, lives in America for a while. Then he goes to Africa. And in the kind of 1920s, sees a massive revival kick off in Africa. So Rhys Howells is part of, just saying, hundreds and thousands of people converted in different countries in Africa. And it's a massive, amazing read. He comes back then to Wales, starts a Bible college in Swansea, and the rest is history. And so right from being a young Christian, from being brought up in the village of Brynaman, the village of Rhys Howells, I've always been aware that God can do something amazing. I know we all believe that God can do something amazing, and one person being converted is amazing. But what I mean in that is not God doing something different, but God doing more of something that he does. So God does convert, but in revival he converts all the more. God does grow us in sanctification and in our love for him, but in revival he does that all the more. And in those early years, walking up the mountain, reading Rhys Howells, trying to be an intercessor and failing, that had a huge impact on me. Fast forward 2 years, and then I become part of a church in the local town of Ammanford. And in the local town of Ammanford, the pastor is a guy called Kevin Adams, and he is a church history nut. He would happily read books that were hundreds of years old, had no interest in modern things. And the big passion that he had was the 1904 revival. Kev went on to write a book on the 1904 revival, produce a film on the 1904 revival, went to America to talk about the 1904 revival, and found a wife there, and so moved out to America. And Kev, as my pastor, and then as the person kind of who encouraged me into ministry, I was his assistant pastor for a while. As he was writing that book and making that DVD, really, I went on a journey with him and discovered the 1904 revival. And Ammanford, where we were, is unique in some places in the 1904 revival. The church there, Bethany, has an amazing history of revival. The rugby club in Ammanford, when you go into the rugby club, even to this day, there is a list of names of all of the captains of the rugby club. And when it comes to 1904 and 1905, it just says club disbanded due to revival. That is phenomenal in the Welsh Valley for a rugby team to disband because of revival. And so being discipled and trained up under Kevin and this kind of whole 1904 influence taught me that really revival can happen in Wales, not just away in Africa, but in Wales and in my town. And really, as a young Christian, those two things, Rhys Howells' Intercessor and 1904, had a huge impact on me. And I started to hunger to see God do something amazing now, to realize as I look back in history, God has not changed. God has not changed. And really, it was those two things really that started me on a journey of loving church history and being fascinated by revival, but not fascinated as a historian, but fascinated as a Christian who wants to know more of God. So really, that's where my story started. I think in the next vlog, I'll tell you a little bit about my approach to history, some of the dangers of revival history, and some of the things that we're trying to avoid in this documentary. Anyway, great to see you once again. Thank you so much for partnering with us, and we'll see you in the next vlog. Take care. God bless.